everybody? Logan here. And yeah, a second video in a day. Well, I was thinking about bringing this to you tomorrow, but by then, people have already been talking about it. But this news broke today, and I saw it just a little while ago. So I was like, you know what? Let me bring it to you. And I thought this was pretty interesting. Knowing my previous history and how much I used to love Marvel and comic books, even though we all know they suck now. Terrible writing, and just the MCU just trash, and we all know that. After Endgame, it all just went. Spider-Man was really good. Remember when Iron Man was really good? Remember that? So the reason I decided to cover this is because of the type of. So EA announces Iron Man game in development at Motive Studio, third-person single-player action game. This comes from Push Square. So the reason why I decided to bring this to you is it looks like classic Iron Man. It looks like real Iron Man. It looks like Tony Stark Iron Man. And if that's the case, I wouldn't mind seeing Rhodey in it, because I do like me some War Machine. So back in the day, well, it depends on how familiar you are with the comics, where most people don't realize that, and especially nowadays, Tony Stark was paraplegic at one point, and the armor is the only thing that made him walk. And there was a point in time where he couldn't even do that, and Rhodey took over the role as Iron Man, and then later became War Machine, and they became like the real dynamic duo. He just tore things up in the name of it. Well, they tore up bad guys. So I would love to see a single-player action game where you switch between Iron Man and War Machine. That would be epic. The only thing is that bothers me, it's not just because it's EA. EA's gotten a bit better lately with games, but it's the studio. So Electronic Arts has announced it's working on a brand new Iron Man game, which is really cool because the last one we had was Iron Man VR. We really haven't had any Marvel games besides the Spider-Man from Insomniac, and we've got Wolverine announced. Developed in partnership with Marvel Games Motive Studio, which previously made Star Wars Squadrons and is currently working on Dead Space Remake, is in charge of the new game. Will be single-player, third-person action adventures, the Armored Event. And if we've learned anything, that EA's pulling back from that monetized, DLC everything on their single-player. Pretty good. But Motive made Star Wars Squadrons, and if you played that, that's a mixed bag. The story was terrible, the characters were awful, the gameplay was good. Now, the Dead Space remake looks pretty promising. But there's really nothing on that. Game's no demo, no real trailers besides the initial one, so the jury's still out on that one. In a post on its official website, the publisher says that the game will feature an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man. Hopefully, it's more 80s and 90s Iron Man, which is definitely the best, and that's why I mentioned that arc where they can bring in Rhodey and Tony as Iron Man and War Machine, which I think would be fantastic to be able to switch between the two. Now, if it's just Iron Man, that is completely fine. It would be great. I did enjoy the original Iron Man. But the one based off the first MCU film made by Sega. Now, the second one, Iron Man 2, was littered with glitches and bugs, but the first Iron Man wasn't bad. So, though not confirmed at this point, it seems as though the game will be unrelated to 2020's PSVR title Iron Man. And that's completely fine. I do have that game, but yeah, it's one of those games I've just never played, but I do own it. I need to play it. It's gotten some pretty positive. That's just it's VR, and VR is hard to, just pull out, play, hook everything up, move all your furniture. So, Marvel Games' Bill Roseman says he's thrilled by the partnership and that they aim to deliver a love letter to the legendary hero in the Ultimate Iron Man video. That word bothers me because I don't want it to be Ultimate Iron Man. I want it to be, and I hopefully they just use that unironically. Ironically, Maybe they did use it ironically. Hopefully it's real Iron Man, not Ultimate Iron Man. I wasn't a fan of Ultimate. I didn't really. The unnamed game is in pre-production right now, so it'll be quite some time before we see this game come to fruition. What I'm hoping for is they don't let the modern MCU have any influence on it, because MCU now, like I said, it's trash. There's nothing good about the current Marvel uh, comic book or movie. So hopefully this goes back onto, like I said, 80s and 90s, even early 2000s, up to the time the first movie was solid, but the 90s are still elite. 80s was a lot of good story. But I'm hoping against hope, because we know Marvel, again, Marvel's just trash, and it's sad to say that coming from someone who's lifelong Marvel fan. Sad. Hopefully we'll get a comic book, or they'll get some good charge. Maybe Kevin Feige will get fired. I wish he get fired, but hey, that's another topic. But maybe they bring in some new writers, do a read of the entire Marvel, set it back to before all this nonsense started happening. Set it back 2010, or have a whole reset, like all this was just a bad feeling. Hey, DC does it all the time. There's no reason DC can't do it either, but let's not talk about it. But what do you think about a new Iron Man video? I'm hesitant. I am skeptical, but very little bit of, because if it goes from the rich history, that's some loaded language. I just hope it's good Iron Man, modern Iron Man, trash, modern Marvel trash. I can keep going. People are gonna hate them. It is what it is, and we all have our opinions. It's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay to disagree. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me what you guys think. Don't let the whole EA thing, disparage you, and don't let the whole MCU thing disparage you. It might be a solid game. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. Yeah, we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.